Let's get a little bit more musical with the blues scale in this lesson. I have 4 licks written out for you that use the 6/1 blues scale exclusively. And these licks are gonna pop up later in the blues solo that we're gonna be learning in the musical application. And the point here is not necessarily to know exactly what scale degrees you're hitting right now. That'll come later. For right now, just work on getting the licks down, visualizing the scale shape as you play them, and maybe even sing along with the licks as you learn them. We're going to be using the 6/1 E blues scale shape for all 4 of these licks. And the first note is going to be on this root note on the 12th fret of the high E string with your first finger, and that's going to be a half note with some vibrato on it. So the first 2 beats of that measure. And then you have a quarter rest, so rest on beat 3. Now, throughout all of these examples, including this first lick, all of the 8th notes we're going to be using are swung. So instead of having a straight 8th note feel like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and we're going to have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And so just get that stylistic feel in your head as you continue with these licks. After that first note and that rest, you're going to come to the 4th of the scale, 14th fret of the G string, and bend that up a half step to the flat 5. And let it back down, and then play the 12th fret of that G string. That's the flatted 3rd. So it's gonna feel like just a triplet here for beat 4. Da da da. So pick, bend, let down, and then play the 12th fret. And then to end this lick, you're gonna hit this root note right here on the 14th fret of the D string. So you're gonna have 1, 2, 3, 4. And that last root note is just a half note. So for beats 1 and 2, play it, maybe add some vibrato if you like, and then rest for beats 3 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you need to double check that bend to make sure it's just a half step right up to that pitch. Lick number 2 starts off on the 14th fret of the G string. That's the 4th scale degree of the scale. And you're gonna play that for a half note, 1, 2. And then you have a little part of the lick that uses a full step or whole step bend and then a half step bend too. So hit that 14th fret again and bend it up 1 full step. You wanna double check that against the pitch that's 2 frets up. And that's just an 8th note. And remember the 8th notes here are swung, so hit the 15th fret of the B right after that for the and of beat 3. And I play that with a down up. And then you're gonna have kind of a similar bend to the one you did in the last lick, lick 1. 14th fret, which is the 4th of the scale, half step bend, and let it back down. So check the pitch, and then back to the 12th fret of that G string. End up on that same root note you ended the last lick with the whole note. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Do that once more for you. Lick number 3 starts off with a full step bend on the 15th fret of the B string with your pinky, and make sure to use all your fingers to help push up on this bend. And it's a half note, so you're gonna have 2 beats to kind of slide that note up. 1, 2. So just space that out however you feel like stylistically. From there, you're gonna go to the 15th fret of the high E string for a quarter note, and the counting here will be 1, 2, 3. So all you're essentially doing is bending the flat 7 note of the scale right here up to the root, and then actually hitting the fretted root right here on the 12th fret. And then you have kind of the same bend we've been doing on the 14th fret of the G string. It's a half step bend, 4th up to the flat 5, back down, and then the 12th fret. And again, you hit that note, bend it up, let it back down, and then play the 12th fret, and come back to rest on the root on the 14th fret of the D string. So let me play that lick for you and count it off so you have some context for how fast it will be. 1, 2, 3, 4. The last lick we're going to go through has a little bit different flavor to it because we're using some faster 8th-note triplets to kind of ascend up the blues scale in the first measure. I'll show you what I mean. The first 7 notes, or the whole first measure of this lick, simply ascend up the blues scale starting on the lowest root note on the 12th fret of the low E string, and go all the way up to the next root of the scale, but you're going to have triplets there, so triplet, triplet, half note. The second half of this lick is a full step bend on the 14th fret of the G string, and that's going to take up the entire first beat, and you're going to bend it up and let it back down. So 1 and 2. On beat 2, you have an 8th note on the 12th fret of the G string. And then on the and of 2, you have the 14th fret, that root note, to finish off the lick for the rest of that measure. So that measure will be 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me play that entire thing for you. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to be using these licks in the solo and the musical application at the end of the series, but before we go over that, I just want to go through a small practice session that you can use to make sure you have this 6-1 blues scale shape down in the next lesson. I'll see you there. Hey, thanks for watching this video. It was just a small clip from the Guitar.io members area where you'll find step-by-step videos so you know exactly what to practice, fun jam tracks to give you clear musical goals, and community support when you need it. If you'd like to check out this entire series, get some motivation, and continue with your positive momentum, you can click the link in the video description to see what Guitar.io is all about. I'll see you there.